Hey Maple, I know I'm cutting it a bit fine, apologies for that, but still have time for our Friday night chapter. And we left Al saying to Carly that he thinks he's having a breakthrough to the spirit world. Okay, chapter 26. They say that once you have broken the law once, then doing it a second time is much, much easier. And I can now say the same is true for undertaking crazy schemes involving midnight moped rides and garage break-ins. Now that I know how I'm going to get back there, I'm itching to continue what I have started. I'm terrified as well, obviously, but super keen not to lose the momentum and the courage that got me started. Now that Carly's involved, though, things have just got a bit tricky. Tricky squared, in fact. Assuming what my dad wrote in his letter is true, then I have the chance of preventing him from dying, and everything will be back to how it was. Otherwise, I'll forever be trapped in this goldfish bowl with Mum, burping Steve, and the stepsister from hell. Talking of Carly, she intercepts me as I come back from Grandpa Byron's after school the next day and starts walking along the road with me, like it's the most normal thing in the world for her to do. I know what's coming, though. Well, how about it? How about what? I feel I have to say. I don't want her to start taking this for granted, thinking that we are co-conspirators in this ridiculous séance thing, or for her to forget that she has blackmailed me into allowing her to participate in it, even though it's completely made up. You know, she says wearily. Look, it's not the right time. This time I have thought about it and am better prepared. There needs to be a full moon. I see. She's buying it. Brilliant. But I have to do some preparation first, and I have to be alone. She looks at me out the sides of her eyes suspiciously. Don't try to shut me out of this, Al, because I'm not. I just need to do something alone. I pause for effect. That's me pausing for effect. And they then say something that I think is very clever. I really need you for this, Carly. This spell requires... What? What? Well, you haven't done this before, Carly, have you? What? You know, you haven't done a séance before. She chews her gum furiously. Well, I just had to double check, you know. A full moon and somebody not doing a séance before. Well, you know. She marches along, arms folded in front of her, practically steaming with indignation. Anything else? She says sniffily. Yes, as a matter of fact, some moonlit earth from the location where the deceased... Can you tell I'm trying to make it sound sort of magic-y? It's the kind of thing they have in books that Carly reads. That and spelling's magic with a K. So, like, how are you going to do that? I'm going back to Culvercott tonight by taxi. Now, this is risky, but I figure that I have sucked Carly in far enough and that she isn't going to tell anyone now. All she says is, wow, freaky. Well, I want to read some more, so let's just do another chapter. Chapter 27. So, it's midnight and I'm in a taxi going to Culvercott. In my hand the carrier bag containing Alan Shearer, the hamster. Well, he's in the little stiff cardboard box that Steve's smartphone came in, with holes punched in the end with a pencil, so that he can breathe. He's going to go in the time machine first. My hamster, as it were, will be my guinea pig. Grandpa Byron's moped is still chained to the drainpipe, and he has not yet got round to hanging a spare key to the padlock on the kitchen hook, as I discovered after school when I came up with the new plan. Besides, I was feeling pretty nervous about risking a second moped ride. What if the same police were on duty? In my money box there was £8 in change I'd been saving, plus the 40 I got from Grandpa Byron for my birthday. My mobile phone is supposed to be strictly for emergencies only. This, I figure, counts as an emergency. So I went online and booked a cab from a taxi company in Ashington, which is the next small town up the coast, as I didn't want to use the local company. I arranged a pickup at the corner of our street, and I felt my stomach flutter when I saw the yellow light approaching, and I stepped out from the shadows to flag it down. The driver's window came down, and he looked me up and down. You book a taxi, son? Yeah, I said as casually as I could, and reached for the rear door handle. Hold on, he said, and I heard the thunk of the central locking system. You're a bit too young to be taking cabs in the middle of the night, aren't you? I was ready for this. Carly and I had gone over just about every query and hitch we could think of. I'm 15, I lied. And besides, my money's as good as anyone else's. And there's a tip in it for you. I held up a £20 note. The quoted fare had only been £15. Greed got the better of him. Go on then, get in quick, he said. The door unlocked. The next bit we planned... I dial Carly's mobile number from inside the cab, and she picks it up straight away. I hold my phone so the driver can hear Carly's voice. Hi, Mum. It's me, Freddie. Yeah. I'm in the cab now. No, don't. I'll let myself in by the garage. Yeah. Only an hour? What if you say so, Mum? I'll ask if he can take me back. And this is where I speak to the driver, who has been watching me in the rear view mirror. Can you take me back in an hour? I'm going to my dad's, but my mum wants me home soon. Now I'm figuring that 2 easy £20 fares an hour apart is worth more to him than poodling around trying to pick up little fares in Culvercott way past midnight, and that he'll wait. It's a gamble, though, and I haven't really worked out what to do if he says no. I'll wait for half an hour, but not an hour, he says. He says half an hour, Mum, I say to Carly, and then to the driver. She says okay. He gives me another long look in the mirror, but says nothing. And even if he had, I was prepared with a story about my mum and dad being separated, and my dad living with Auntie Ellie, and this being the only time I could visit him, or something. Well, to be honest, Carly and I didn't quite put the finishing touches to this story, which we were hoping, correctly as it turned out, we wouldn't have to. 20 minutes later, we're outside 40 Chesterton Road. I've handed over the money as we turn into the street, as I want to be out quickly. I thought about asking him to drop me at the end of the street, but it seems suspicious. And besides, a cab driver with a passenger my age is going to make sure the kid gets safely indoors. So here I am. The taxi is in the middle of the road with its engine idling as I nip up the driveway towards the garage doors. The taxi door had shut with a louder noise than I had hoped, and just as I'm squeezing through the gap in the garage doors, it happens. The light goes on in the front bedroom, and my stomach lurches. By poking my head round the gap in the doors, I can see the taxi and the curtains parting in the bay window above. It gets even worse. The taxi driver gives a wave to whoever is peering through the curtains, points at the garage, and gives a thumbs up. It's easy to guess what he means. I've delivered your son safely, and he's coming in now. The taxi pulls away to the parking spot down the road, where he said he'd meet me in half an hour's time. The light's still on upstairs, and the curtain flicks open in the side bay window, as the lady looks to where the taxi driver was pointing. As the shaft of light hits the garage door, I pull my head back. Has she seen me? Will she notice that the garage door is ajar? So I'm just waiting until I get the courage to move again when I hear the key in the lock of the front door that connects the garage to the house. The door bursts open, the garage light goes on, and whoever opened it It sees nothing. For by this stage I've snuck back out of the garage and I'm crouching down between the Skoda and the hedge. If they decide to look outside, I'm done for. A woman's voice comes from in the house. You've got to sort that garage door out, Graham. Yeah, said Graham, and pulls the door shut again. I hear the key in the connecting door, and a minute later the light upstairs goes out. I decide to wait at least 10 minutes before going in again, so now I'm going to have to work double quick. It's amazing what you can do under pressure when you don't have time to dither. I'm quick and I'm quiet, getting into the old cellar under the old planks, through the circular metal submarine door, down the stairs, and I'm sitting at the desk, looking at the wall and taking deep breaths, trying to stop my heart from racing. But I can't. It's just going thumpity thumpity thump in my chest. I've still got Alan Shearer in the box inside the bag, and I take him out and let him have a little run on the desk. He seems fine though. So there's the tin tub with the old MacBook laptop computer on it. There's a cable coming out of the back of the laptop, leading to a black metal box about the size of a book. And coming out of that are two cords with the strange hand grips. More like huge metal bolts, really, right on the end. There is a metal clasp on the side of the black box, and I flip it open and lift the lid. Inside is a circuit board, like I once had in a home electronics kit, and two tiny gold-coloured rectangles. A long cable is attached to the circuit board, and at the end of the cable is a bare wire with a blob of blue tack attached to it. It all looks as though a 6-year-old has made it. My hands are trembling as I plug in the laptop to the wall socket, and there's a slight hum and a delay of a minute or two as it runs through its startup programs, and then the screen brings into life and the desktop picture appears of Doctor Who in his TARDIS. Only not the guy who's Doctor Who at the moment, but the one from a few years ago whose name I can't remember because I've never really been into Doctor Who. And there's one folder on the screen desktop, just the one, a little blue square labelled OW. With my hands on the touchpad, I click the folder. There are two subfolders inside, one labelled map and another labelled OW. I click on the map one first. It's like a simplified version of Google Earth with a grid laid over it and a box for entering map coordinates. There's a look about it that says, "Don't mess." So I quickly close it before I can hit anything accidentally and open up the one marked OWL instead. There is a single document inside and a dialogue box appears, asking me for a password with this question. Name a well-known homemade go-kart. I smile and type in, what do you think he types in, Maple? Can you remember? The Lean Mean Green Machine. And the document opens. Well, I think that's a very good place to leave that. I will look forward to chapter 28, as I hope you will too. Have a lovely weekend, Maple. I intend to this weekend, and I will check back in with you on Monday. Take care. Miss you all. Bye.